This is a change in your status from being single to being in with somebody.
Hello, Virgo. I'm Bonnie Morris, and that's Don Rumor Rivera. And together we are Cards and Constellations. We're the only ones on the internet that have married both astrology with tarot so that you can get a better idea of the energy going on this week and use it to your advantage. Now, this week I want to talk about the void of course. You hear me talk about it, but a lot of people kind of aren't familiar with what that is. And that is the time slot between when the moon leaves one sign and goes into the other. It's that gap in between. Usually a few minutes, 45 minutes, a couple hours. We talk about the void of course. We're talking about not starting any projects, okay? It's a time to rest. It's a time to finish things.
Look at my face. Don't do it. No, don't do it. No.
If you do start something, you're going to have to redo it. It's always that way. I've had so many people come back to me and say, hey, you were right. I did this. Okay. Now, this week we have a void of course that is the longest I've ever seen in my lifetime. The void of course Monday starts at 1:25 a.m. on the 23rd. It goes all day the 23rd. It goes all night the 23rd and 4th, all day the 24th. It doesn't end until 8:44 in the evening of the 24th. Now, when it's void of course, it does not reflect back to the earth. And what that does is for anybody that has any sort of mental health issues, and for people who don't, it can affect you. There's nothing reflecting back, and so it can make them distraught. It can make them spiral down. So if you know people like that, you might check on them during this time, because this is quite intense. Now, when it's done with its void of course on the 24th, then it moves into the sign of Cancer. On the 26th, it goes void of course, but only for about 45-50 minutes at 10:15 in the evening until 11:06. Then on the 29th, it will go void of course at 4:02 in the morning until 4:44. When it then will move into the sign of Virgo.
444. I love that.
Yeah, I wondered if you were going to catch on to that.
Remember, I was born at 4:44 p.m.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that. Yeah. Now, another thing to consider is on the 25th, we have a new moon. The new moon. You need to set some intentions. What project do you want to work on for the next 2.5 years? This new moon is where you set those intentions. So write them down. Be specific. All right. Now let's get into what is specific for Virgo here. You will find focused energy, giving you a little more self-confidence this week. There is a lovely blend of emotional ease and social grace, affectionate, kind, and naturally drawn to the art and some cozy environment. The emotional intelligence helps you build supportive relationships. This week, there is a sense of an undercurrent that may make it hard to share thoughts without feeling very vulnerable at that time. Caution, it may make it come across as forceful or overly intense in conversation. Mercury is in a triangle with Saturn. That is supporting energy, supporting clear thinking, reliability, thoughtful communication. You are grounded. Wisdom is there, and steady nature will make you an excellent planner. Don, what do you have for Virgo?
Let's ask Spirit and Universe to give us a clear indication based on the cards what is in their highest and best interest for the week. Oh, interesting. Something popped out. I love this. Very first, very first card, which is the death card. Now, as I said that, don't run to the doors. Don't hit the turn off button. It doesn't mean dying necessarily. Okay. Yeah, there may be something out there, but no, this is change. This is change. Okay. And so when you get that change card is letting you know that you are the one who is in charge of the change. We have two change cards in tarot, by the way. One is a death card, which again is the change in which you initiate. The Tower card is a change that you did not initiate. And that's the way we can tell the difference. And so in this situation, again, death means change. And that tells you that this is a week where you may want to look at ways in which you can change what's happening. So you can change your environment, you can change your behavior, you can change the way in which you're doing things, the way in which you're approaching situations, you can change the way in which you are interacting with people. Again, it depends on your situation, but look to this week to be a supportive week in reference to you bringing about change. And the change that you're bringing about, by the way, is not changing others, because again, this kind of change doesn't change others. It changes you, it changes your environment. And therefore, the change in you and your environment radiates out to everybody else. So again, you're not affecting their change. You are creating change. The change is infecting you. It's impacting you. But your change and your environment, which brings a change to your environment, will then have rippling effect. So know that that will get out there. On the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Cups energy, and that's the energy around you. That is your environmental energy. So it's not your specific energy. But the good thing about the Knight of Cups is like there's a positive energy, a positive, happy energy about motion and movement. And that makes very good sense because it's supporting your need to change. It's supporting the time of change. So it's saying that, hey, the energy is good because it's a fluid energy. It's an active energy. The Knight of Cups is one of the more active knights. Some of the knights are not very active and therefore they're very slow and passive. This is not. The Knight of Cups is a more active energy. So he's not the Knight of Swords, which will come and just will wipe everything out and don't think anything. This is energy about positive energy, about positive feelings, about emotions, because cups are all about your feelings and emotions. So again, positive energy for you to make the changes you need to make this week. And then we have a Two of Cups, which I'm loving that because that's an alignment card. Now this can be the Lover's card. This can be those things.
Oh, that's my favorite card.
Yes, but this situation, this is more of an alignment. So it's that change we're talking about can be something that aligns better with you. So a change into something that's making better sense. Again, maybe you're making choices recently that aren't really panning out well. So you're thinking, what am I doing differently in my evaluation process? Or it can be, hey, I don't like the job I'm in anymore. This job doesn't align with me. Maybe I need to make a change in my employment. Maybe you need to change from being an employee to an employer. So maybe this is that change that aligns with you because you're better as an employer than as an employee. So start your own business. There are all kinds of ways in which this energy about change can be, but most importantly, what aligns with you? What is really connected with you? Now, one thing I can suggest to you too is that when you have this card, the Death card, and the Two of Cups card, it could also indicate a change in relationship. This is a change in relationship to the better, by the way, because again, it's a Two of Cups. This isn't a Three of Swords, because the Three of Swords is change and the bye-bye, you're gone, see you later, you done something you ain't supposed to do. This is a change in your status from being single to being in with somebody. So this could be also for you, but remember, you got to be the one who approaches. You have to be the one to make the change. So if you're out someplace and somebody you like somebody, you see somebody that you're drawn to, initiate the response, initiate the connection, initiate the conversation, whatever it takes to do this. This is not because of this card. They're not coming to you. They're not coming to, even if they want to, the energy is not there. And remember, you have to make the action. Remember, we talked about the energy around you is you having the action. So you make the overture, you make the outreach, you connect, and don't be surprised if you got some, if not Mrs. or Mr. Right, maybe it's Mrs. or Mr. Right now. So at least you get something. So that's a good part. And then ultimately, here's the King of Swords. And it's interesting because the King of Swords is doing something different, undertaking control and making something happen differently. Because again, it's about logic, it's about reasoning. And again, you have evaluated what was working, isn't working. I need to make a change. And the King of Swords, like, we got you. We will do this. We will make that change. Now, this King is not the King of Cups, because the King of Cups is very apt to change. The King of Swords isn't, but the King of Swords understands logically that when it's time to change, they will change. And that's the best part about this, because the emotions of the King of Cups is, I'm good with this, I can make this. But if you buy into the psychology of the change, then you've got the better end of the deal. So this week is all about change to me. This week is all about you evaluating what's working, what isn't working. You may even have to say time out to some people in your life who isn't serving your best and highest interest, because maybe they're just not helping you, and maybe if the opposite, maybe they're pulling you down. This could be a change, again, in environment. It could be a change in your economic status. It could be a change in the way in which you invest money. It could be in the change in any kind of way. So don't limit your ideas. Don't think of change only in the very narrow windows I gave you. Think about your entire life. What isn't working? And then let's do some changing to make it align better. Again, back to that alignment card, align better to help you get set up for the rest of the year. Okay. That's what I'm picking up, Miss Bonnie.
Hey, to me, that went well. I just followed through what I read to them with what you were talking about. A blend of emotion and social graces, affectionate and kind, emotional intelligence.
Oh, I thought you said affectionate and kind. You were talking to me.
The emotional intelligence, I was talking about myself, honey, helps you build supportive relationships. This week, the sense of an undercurrent. Okay, that's that change.
And that's that night of that we talked about, the Night of Cups.
Yeah. Yep. And Cups is emotion. So there we're talking emotion.
Absolutely.
And then towards the end, we're talking about you were talking about the Knight of Swords, and something else with swords.
King of Swords.
Mercury. Mercury is all about, is associated with swords. Mercury is the planet for the sign of Gemini. That's a big air sign that's represented by swords. So yes, I read through this just as you were talking, and it went perfectly.
Fantastic. Well, folks, that shows you tarot and astrology have more of a link than you could imagine. And you wouldn't know that with everybody else on the net, but you will here, because we're the only two that do this. And we do it quite well. Thank goodness we found the mix that's working. So please support us, help us grow our channel, show us the love, and we'll continue to give you the love back by producing this every week for you. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow buttons. And when you hit the subscribe buttons, please turn on the notifications, so where you'll get noticed anytime we go live, anytime we post something, and therefore you don't have to track us down. We will come into your mailbox and say ding, or you're on your phone and say ding, we are here, which is nice. Now, while you're doing these subscriptions, if you're on Sonoran Mystic Tarot, which is right here, then pop over to Miss Bonnie's, and hers is Your Love Goddess. And then hit the notification button there, as well as a subscribe. And then additionally, go to Cards and Constellations. I'm trying to get my hands like, that's the point. You get it. Anyway, the point is Cards and Constellations on the YouTube channel, and also subscribe there. And therefore, you're hitting everything, so where you won't miss a darn thing. With that said, we are out of here. Love, light, and blessings from me and my family, Miss Bonnie and her family, to you and to yours. Until next week. This is Cards and Constellations. Adios.